Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Charlie Brown from Black and Blue TV. I know it's been a minute. I came at you guys, with some preseason predictions and so forth. So just do me a favor, give the video a like, share the content, and subscribe to the content. So this is going to be a short live, and just want to address, the fact that my Cowboys are in the playoffs, and we do have the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday at 6:30. Also, that will be playing too is the Bills and the Bengals. That's going to be an interesting game to watch. Considering the fact what happened to Damar Hamlin previous weeks ago. You know, uh, so hopefully, we can see the conclusion of that game. But more so onto the Cowboys. Now, for the Cowboys, I think that it's going to be an uphill battle, and simply because when you look at that San Francisco 49ers defense, you look at, Fred Warner and crew, Joey Bosa, the pass rushers that they have, it's going to be a tall tale for, our Cowboys offensive line. Now, we do have Tyron Smith back, who's at right tackle now alongside with Zach Martin, which is a good combination. But the more I'm concerned is the area, excuse me, the area that I'm concerned is actually the left side. That's Jason Peters and Tyler Smith. Now Tyler Smith, he's been playing solid all year. I'm curious to see how that duo matches up against those pass rushers. Uh, Also, another thing too, our run game, wasn't as solid as it has been in the past, but we stuck with it, and hopefully we can continue to stick with it because we I understand Dak had a great game. He had a phenomenal game against Tampa Bay. We finally got that monkey off our bat and back, and you know we beat Tom. But it can't end now because I think this is our best chance to win the Super Bowl. Now, honestly, you know, it'll be three road games to the Super Bowl unless the Giants were able to somehow, beat the Eagles. But I don't see that happening. I do see Philly winning, but it's going to be closer than most people think. Uh, but for the Cowboys to, actually win, we're going to have to play a perfect game, kind of like how we did last game. But I need to see more consistency in the run game. Now, unfortunately, I hate to say it, Zeke this year, he's been a drive killer. You know, he's good. He's good in pass protection and so forth. But he's not as. I mean, him and Pollard are kind of equal. That's why I think Pollard's gotten more of the snaps, and also too Pollard's a little bit more explosive, especially on the edge. For Zeke, he's turned into like a short yardage runner. Um, Pass catching out of the backfield, not so much. There have been some plays where I think, you know, if him and Dak were on the same page, he could have had some completions, some receptions. But all in all, it was a good season for the Dallas Cowboys. We're 12-5 again, but this time we actually won our playoff game. Um, but we're going to go into hostile territory next week, and San Fran, they're a good team, and Brock Purdy has been playing lights out football ever since he started. You know, and also too, he brings more versatility at the quarterback position, specifically moving around the pocket. There was actually a pass last week he made um, to the corner of the end zone to Ayuk. Now Ayuk dropped it, but it was actually a great play made by Purdy. Um, he was rolling to the right, trying to buy time, making a few people miss. And then at the last second, he threw a dime to Ayuk. I wish Ayuk caught that because that was actually a very good pass. And for a rookie quarterback, that's scary. And I honestly think that he's auditioning for the starter role next year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is named the starting quarterback next year. Um, Now, also on the Niners, you got to look at their offense too. They have Debo Samuel, who's a hybrid player. They have Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey. If the Cowboys are going to have the chance of winning this game, they're going to have to somehow find a way to neutralize those two, because those two are playmakers and also game breakers. Last week McCaffrey had that big reception, that big screen play. Also, he had a couple of huge runs. Samuel, he had a couple of big plays. And I look at that, offense as a whole, and they're very hard to stop. Seattle hung in there, until the third quarter, and then the Niners just dominated defensively and offensively. They definitely turned it into a track meet, in the fourth quarter. And unfortunately, for the Seahawks, Geno Smith end of the season came near than most thought it would have. I didn't even say that right. Geno Smith's season came to an end. But hats off to the Seahawks too, because nobody thought that they would be in this position, especially with a new quarterback, Russell Wilson leaving for Denver. We all seen how that turned out, and Pete Carroll was pretty much left with the team that he had, and I honestly give Pete Carroll credit. He was able to get his team at least in the postseason. Especially with what they had. Yeah, they had DK Metcalf and Lockett, but Geno Smith at the quarterback position, also with the makeshift line that they had, and their defense, wasn't as dominant in previous years as the Legion of Boom, but they were very serviceable. So, and that's a young team. So I'm kind of looking forward to how they're going to do next year in the West. You know, did they possibly, play out of their minds this year? Could be. But all in all, they're one of the teams to make the postseason, and hats off to them. Um, but as for the Niners, like I said, the Niners, I think they're the best team in the NFC right now, personally. I even think they're better than the Eagles. Now, even though the Eagles do have a star-studded lineup and they do face uh, New York this weekend, I still see the Eagles going to the NFC Championship pretty much because off of pure talent. Now, I do look at their skill positions. Of course, they have Miles Sanders, AJ Brown, you know, uh, what's his name, Devontae Smith, um, and I think not Jalen Rager, the other guy, Quez Watkins. Um, so they have those three that could break the game open at any given time. And also, we can't forget about Dallas Goddard. Now, Dallas Goddard to me is the jack of all trades. He could definitely run block pretty good. I like when they send him out in routes because he is a matchup nightmare. Um, he doesn't have like world class speed, but Goddard's a big guy and he can definitely get open, especially up in the seam area of the middle of the field. That's pretty much Jalen Hurts' sweet spot. And also too, hats off to Jalen Hurts this year. He had a very good year. Unfortunately, he got hurt. I hope he still gets the MVP. But honestly, I don't think he will this year. I think it's going to be up to pretty much Mahomes or Josh Allen. I think those are the one and twos right now. But for the most part, Jalen Hurts had a heck of a year. I think that, he's definitely made his mark in Philly and he's here to stay. Now, if they do win the Super Bowl this year, great. Even if they don't, I think it's still a good season for Philadelphia. I know Philadelphia fans have this, um, burden on their back that they want to win more than one championship, of course, but things take time, and I think the nucleus that they have, especially beginning with the head coach Nick Sirianni, I think that this is going to be a good fit for them for years to come. Uh, and now back to my Cowboys. Now, in order for Dallas to win, um, what we're going to have to do is, like I said, we're going to have to play error-free football. And we're going to have to implement the running game somehow. Now, I don't expect us to be dominant due to the fact that San Francisco's defense is probably the best defense in the league. Um, Probably, the Eagles second and the Cowboys third as of right now. But for Dallas, I would like us to attack, the corners, especially on the outside areas. So this is going to be CeeDee Lamb, T.Y. Hilton, and of course Michael Gallup. Now, last game, Dalton Schultz, he played a very good game. When I was looking at Dak and his reads, there's some exceptional passes he threw to Dalton Schultz, especially Dak scrambling to the left and throwing across his body to the right. Dak is coming to his own this playoff series, this postseason game, excuse me. But I'm gonna have to see more out of Dak, and he just can't be a one trick pony, just have one good game and then goes to San Fran and just, sputters away. I know it's gonna be a tough game for him, but I'm still gonna need to see him make plays like this on a consistent basis because, let's look at it this way. If San Fran is able to shut down the run, you know, what are we going to do? We're going to have to pass the ball. We're going to have to utilize the 12 personnel. We're going to have to move around CD and TY, pretty much because that creates a lot of matchup issues, especially with TY. And he was a great addition this year. He came on late in the season. He had that big catch in the Eagles game. He played very well the Tennessee game. Now, even though the Cowboys did lose to the Commanders last game of the season, like Mike McCarthy said, they got their asses kicked, and I think that they really needed that. Give the Cowboys some humble pie because as a Cowboys fan, we do need some humble pie once in a while. You know, it was a great season. I do want this to continue, but we can't be too happy going into playoff games. We have to be pretty much balanced and understand what's at stake. And I think that Tampa Bay game we did because for all four quarters we dominated, and that was a very well put together game. By the Cowboys, and hopefully they will continue to do so. But it's going to be tough sledding in San Francisco. So that's all I have. Just wanted to go live, talk to you guys a little bit. Uh, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the content. It's much appreciated. Yeah, I'm not going to chop this video up and do any edits. This is just, straight off the dome free thinking. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and you guys have a great night. Also, too, if you guys are staying up a little late, excuse me, head over to my Cowboys family. He does great breakdowns of the Cowboys matchups, especially this one coming up against San Fran. And also, he has a lot of news that comes out during the day, but mostly they mainstream. They live stream late at night around 11:30, 12 o'clock. So I'll be heading over there, guys. But anyways, you guys have a great night. Losing my voice. You guys have a wonderful night, and I'll be coming up with more content pretty soon, most likely tomorrow, because I want to do a review on the Cowboys and Niners. And also, I'm going to touch pretty much the AFC as well, because this game between the Bills and Bengals is going to be very important. So, with that said, you guys have a great night.